Ivar and his bodyguard Vigrid travel the Silk Road. As they enter Kievan Rus, they are captured by men loyal to Prince Oleg the Prophet. After torturing and dismembering Vigrid, Oleg finds out Ivar's full story and takes an interest in the exiled king. Oleg discloses to Ivar that he plans to reclaim the Rus people's ancestral lands in Scandinavia and invites Ivar to join him. Lagertha announces a plan to retire and rebuild her old farm. Messengers arrive and inform Bjorn that King Olaf has occupied King Harald's kingdom and holds him captive. Having saved Bjorn's life twice, he is asking for his aid in reclaiming his freedom and lands. Against Lagertha's advice, Bjorn decides to go to Harald's aid. Jettel returns to Kattegat in search of new settlers to help build Iceland. Ubba is interested in following him as Jettel claims that one of the settlers is the fabled Odair. Jettel says Floki has vanished, raising the suspicion of Bjorn. In Kievan Rus, Oleg and Ivar travel to Novgorod to meet Oleg's brother Askold and retrieve Oleg's nephew Igor, the heir to the kingdom. Oleg has Askold poisoned while Ivar forms a connection with Igor. Oleg's other brother Dir soon arrives to arrest Oleg, but when Oleg shows apparent prophetic power by producing Dir's secret wife Anna, Dir is forced to let them go. After returning to Kiev with Igor and Ivar, Oleg has Dir attacked and imprisoned. In Kattegat, Bjorn is seduced by Gunhild's servant Ingrid. As he leaves to rescue Harald, he places Ubbe in command while leaving his children Hali and Assa with Lagertha. Lagertha's neighbors are attacked and raped by Whitehair and the other bandits, so they seek Lagertha's help. In Westfold, Harald has befriended Olaf's steward Canute and attempts to convince him to release him. Bjorn and his warriors attempt to swim into the harbor, but Olaf has put oil in the water to set the bay on fire. Bjorn is forced to retreat. Jarl Torkel arrives in Westfold and is welcomed by Olaf. Gunhild finds Lagertha and learns of Hali's death. She decides to stay and defend the village with her shield maidens. Ivar and Igor free Dir. King Olaf presents Thorkel, Hakon, Bjorn and Harald as the 4 election candidates. He then publicly votes for Bjorn. An envoy from the Threading Party to the Silk Road returns and informs Ubbe that Ivar is in Kiev. Whitehair and his bandits attack the village again. Seriously wounded, Lagertha rides back to Kattegat to meet Bjorn. In Westfold, Harald wins the election and is crowned king of all Norway. Lagertha arrives in Kattegat. Hvitserk hallucinates Ivar as a serpent and attacks it. As he comes to his senses, he realizes he has actually stabbed Lagertha to death. In Kattegat, Lagertha's body is found and Hvitserk is missing. Amma locates Hvitserk in the forest and brings him back to Kattegat. Torvi and Gunhild arrange Lagertha's funeral. Bjorn returns and says goodbye to his mother and swears to seek vengeance for her murder. Bjorn puts Hvitserk on trial for the murder of Lagertha. Hvitserk confesses and Bjorn sentences him to be buried alive. Obey attempts to convince Hvitserk to ask for mercy, but Hvitserk believes he was guided by the gods to avenge a sloth. When Hvitserk is about to be burned, Obey saves his life. Then Bjorn banishes Hvitserk. Later, Gunhild discovers Bjorn having sex with Ingrid. She suggests that Bjorn take Ingrid as a second wife. Obey, Torvi and Assa travel to Iceland with Jettel. In Kiev, Oleg sends raiding parties to Scandinavia in preparation for a larger invasion. One of the Rus raiding parties sacks Eystrihagen and the survivors report to Harald. Olaf warns Harald that an invasion is coming. Torvi has her baby and she and Obey call him Ragnar. Odair is revealed to be former Christian monk named Athelstan. Obey wants to sacrifice Odair to the gods, but he is reminded by Torvi that he himself was once baptized. Odair gives Obey Floki's wedding ring, saying that he met him before he disappeared. In Kattegat, Bjorn takes Ingrid as his second wife. With Gunhild's blessing, he asks Eric to patrol his borders. Eric's party is attacked by Ganbater and his Rus soldiers. Bjorn sends Eric to Westfold to ask Harald to join forces against the Rus, but Harald instead arrests Eric for being an outlaw. After Olaf's plea, Harald listens to Eric and agrees to join with Bjorn. Hvitserk is found by the Rus and Ivar takes him to Kiev. Hvitserk tells Ivar he killed Lagertha. An informer tells Ivar that Dir expects him to help overthrow Oleg after the invasion. Oleg parades his army outside the city walls. In Westfold, Bjorn and Harald prepare for the incoming Rus attack. During the preparations, Gunhild loses her unborn child. Frustrated with Bjorn having a second wife, Harald rapes Ingrid. Of the many kings and earls of Norway, only Thorkel and his men have joined Harald's army. Ivor helps Oleg plan the invasion and suggests the Rus attack both the beach and the river, despite the mountain between the river and the capital. The majority of the Rus fleet attacks the beach, and Harald, Bjorn and Eric lead the defense. Ivor, with Cirque, Oleg and the men manage to breach the block at the river mouth, defended by Gunhild. The Rus climb the mountain and surround the Viking army at the beach. Thorkel is killed and Harald is seriously wounded. When Eric tries to help him, Harald orders him to retreat. Bjorn continues to fight as his army is overwhelmed. Suddenly, Ivor appears and stabs Bjorn with a sword. The Rus celebrate the victory. Thank you for watching. Please let us know how the recap was in comment section.